Welcome back to the Late Night Gamer and another playthrough. Today I will like to play through a game which is probably one of the most beautiful games I have visually, and it's also actually quite good. I like it a lot, but as with many of my games I don't play them enough, so I wanted to rectify that. And the game is Awakening of the Bear. It's the Conflict of Heroes series from Academy Games. And I'm not going to be playing a two-player game, of course. I'm going to use these two modules to play a solitary game using the Solitaire expansion. But I'm going to first use the firefight generator to generate a firefight, which I then can use the solo expansions to play through. And that should showcase all of these modules. I can see that for some reason this firefight generator seems to be on sale everywhere. People seem not to buy it. If you're a solitary gamer, you may want to reconsider that, because there are quite limited number of solitaire firefights available. So pre-made ones. So if you want to make your own, we should have a look at what it contains. So we start now. The playthrough is going to be that we start with the firefight, generate that for solitaire play, and then we'll set up what's ever left after the generation, and we play through with the solitaire rules. Okay, so the firefight generator comes with a lot of stuff, but it also comes with a booklet which shows you quite easy how to set up and generate the firefight. So this is for a two-player firefight in this book. But it also comes with this sheet here, which is a solo mission generator, which is what we'll be using. At the heart of the firefight generator is that the player chooses which guideline they want to use, because that determines different aspects of the setup. And we have different sets of guidelines. So the first is an introduction firefight, or intro firefight. It will last for 4 rounds, the game. Although that's for two-player game. When it comes to solitaire, that length is variable because of the mechanisms in the solitaire play. We'll see more of that when we get to that. But an introductional firefight is you use a limited set of setup cards. That limits your unit and the possibility that you can choose from. Yeah, we have an infantry firefight, and I'm assuming here then that tanks and stuff will be left out. And then you have light armor and a full deck firefight, but it goes on. Light armor and infantry, and then even a 3-player firefight and a 4-player firefight, which we will of course ignore. So basically we can choose from 6 types of firefights. And you know, liking randomness and all, why don't we just roll a die? So we will be going for firefight number 5. Well, that's a heavy one. This may be a long series then, because a heavy one is a full deck firefight. Yeah, 5 rounds. Okay, well, let's do that. Duration 60 minutes, an hour gameplay. Well, we'll for sure see a lot of options and possibilities then. So then it's just a matter of following the steps in a setup. The first step here for solo mission is what we just did. You choose which guidelines you want to use, and then sort out the cards for both sides. The thing here is that I don't know yet which sides I will be playing and which side the AI will be playing. That's going to be determined by a die roll later on. So it's a 50-50, so it means that I want to set up balanced. Yeah, I'm doing a little bit sort of meticulously here at the beginning, because then I go into the generator setup, which is in the booklet, and these are the steps which I go through basically to generate the firefights. So I'm going to go through the steps and talk about them as we go along. I will be setting aside these Conflict of Heroes solo track, so I can track the different caps, action points that I need and so forth. I set aside the track, and I need to look at the action card to form the action card deck. Then I do the same with the condition cards. The condition cards are a subset of cards which are sometimes called for. If that happens, we will use that. For now, I'm shuffling. It's only the whole deck is only 5 cards, so it's not that much. Okay, so the full deck firefight says that we will be using all the action cards and bonus cards 2 to 13 and 40. And the action cards is this deck that you use during gameplay, and the cards have numbers on them, like here. So you can see that this is an action card because of this symbol up here, so I'll be using all the action cards. So this here is not an action card, this is what is called a weapons card. Action and then bonus cards from 2 to 13 and number 40. Bonus cards has this plus symbols, and you'll be using all the actions and bonus cards from 2 to 13 and number 40. So if any of these numbers are outside that range, we will discard them. Then after that we go to the map setup. We choose any map, and in the game there are 5 maps. So again, we're just going to determine that randomly. And we're going to use map number 2. So every map has a number in the corner, and this is number 2. Just want to have a close look here, and I don't know if the beauty of the game really shows, but the map is fantastic. I really enjoy these maps. Seems like we have gotten an open terrain. The setup doesn't specify which side the Soviets are going to enter from and the Germans. Actually, I can roll for that. Yeah, I can roll for that. Just do it randomly. 1 to 3, I'm going to roll for the Soviets. No, I'm rolling for the Germans because this is a 6. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4. No, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And re-rolling 5 and 6 to see which edge the Germans are coming from. Re-rolling. Oops, I got a 2. So that's 1, 2. The Germans are entering from this side, and then the Soviets automatically will enter from the opposite side. Okay, I'm putting the German die up here, so I remember that. Now, I do also have a Soviet die, which I'll be putting on the other side. You can, of course, determine that however you like. So the next step is to generate the units and other type of game effects, and for that we will be using the firefighter generation cards. These are the Germans, and you don't take out any, use the full deck because that's what the guideline says, and it's called even full deck. So the guideline says use generated cards 1 to 25 for both sides, and that is all the cards in the deck. Other guidelines will going to tell you otherwise, 10 to 25 for instance here, and 10 to 16 here, so that you can limit those selection to actually what the theme of the firefight is. So light armor, then it's going to be that. So now we have a full deck, so anything can happen. Can be infantry versus tanks, and can be unbalanced maybe. So shuffling both decks, going to mark that both sides starts with 4 command points. In a solo game you only use command points for the human player, but since I don't know which player is human yet, I'm going to mark both here, and different events on the cards, generated cards, can manipulate the caps up and down from one or both sides. So I'm going to put both on 4, and I'm going to mark that this is a 5-turn game as of now. Right, central to the Solitaire firefight generation system are these cardboards, where we will be playing cards from the hand to either of these 3 spaces, and we're putting the cards underneath. Let me use this as an example, and we will mask half of the cards and use the thing on the top. So this is a special rule, which is going to be under special rules. If it was something concerning victory points, it will go here. And if you use the lower part, it's going to be units. So then you get units on the map. And we do that until we have played equal to the number of our hand size, which is 5 cards. So once both sides has played 5 cards, then the firefight generation is over. Sometimes during the generation here, I need to put units on the map, so I have to leave the map here. I'm a little bit out of space now, but I'm going to squeeze a little bit. So it's going to be like that, German and Soviets, and I'm going to start with one of the guys. So let's see. I will just roll, and the one that gets highest will start. Soviets are going to start. I flip these. So that was also a roll for initiative. So it's going to be the Soviets that have the initiative in this game, meaning they will start the first round. Now the way we do it is that once they are shuffled up, and I'm just going to give them another quick shuffle here, I'm going to draw 2 cards and look at them, and I'm going to play one of them, and the one I don't play goes back on the top here, so it will come out next time along with another card which I will not, which I will play or not play. So in that way I will circulate 1 card at a time. It's important to be aware of that there are some cards that requires you to do some things in a certain way that is different from a 2-player game. I would just keep an eye on these cards, it's not too many. So I'm starting with the Soviet player and I'm drawing 2 cards. Now I can either play them for the upper half or the lower half. The lower half is always going to be a unit. Oh, look at these. The upper part is going to alternate the rules somehow. This is a victory point change. I can choose a German target and I can seek out to destroy it to get extra victory points. There are no German targets yet, so the other card I have is kind of an interesting special event. I can place a second map. Oh, I don't want to do that because that's going to expand the territory so much. I have so much ground to cover, so I'm not going to use that just because I don't want to play on 2 maps. Camera stuff and organizing and that kind of stuff. But I think this is, this is kind of attractive. I can place 2 tank units or get 2 tank units, a T26 and a T35, and then I get 1 extra command point. Yeah, the other unit here is I have to lose command point, but I get like a super mongoose, dangerous super tank. Oh, I want this. I haven't played with this, but I have to be careful because if the Soviets are going to be AI control, this is going to be awful. So I can destroy these, I think, if I have a reasonable good German tank. But this thing here, 18 defense, I need to have a good German tank then to destroy it. And if I don't get that, tank is going to dominate the battle. But -2 cap, that's also good because that reduces the options for the AI player, but also for the player. Oh, choices. I don't know. I want to try this guy. Come on. So then I place it. This goes on top of the pile again, of the card deck. Right here. The unit card goes underneath, just like that. And I have to dig out this awful tank, KV2. So here it is. If you don't know how to play this game, I can briefly tell you that these numbers here indicate the firepower of this tank. The red number is firepower towards infantry and the blue is towards armor. And this is his defense rating, 18 in the front, 16 in the rear and the flank, and this sort of designates the front. So basically you take the firepower and you roll a die and you can modify stuff, or you roll 2 dice. So it's tough. Or beating 18 on 2 dice plus firepower, meaning that you need something big to knock it out. But it will cost me 2 cap, and I will do it now. Soviets get -2 caps. Okay, so let's see what the Germans can do to counter that. Just quickly look at the units they have now. Mortars, infantry gun, And carrier, yeah, see, this is the problem again with being, if the Germans are going to be on the offensive now, moving this infantry gun is difficult. It's not impossible though. Yeah, these two tanks is great to have, but they have very low firepower, only 5. Remember the defense rating of that KV2 tank? It was 18 or 16 if you shoot it on the side. Yeah, it's almost not possible. I can force placement of that big tank and make it a priority target for 5 extra victory points. I'm going to make this a hunt. This goes back on top of the pile. This card is played for victory points because it says victory points, capture. So choose a Soviet target unit, KV2. The Soviet must place this unit and all other units on the same card. There were no other units on that card. It has to be placed at least 6 hexes from the Soviet entry edge. So it's good for the German now then to know where the heck this guy is coming out, and I get +5 victory points for taking it out. Default victory points in this game is that you get 1 victory point for each destroyed enemy unit. So now we have an augmentation of that, making this extremely valuable. It's 6 hexes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's in the middle of the map, almost all on my side, or the German side. Don't know if I'm going to be German yet, but let's... I'm going to, I think what the Soviet guy is going to do is 4, 5, 6. He's going to place it in the village here at the crossroad here, so he have multiple retreat options and actually expanding options, because it will get bonus when it goes on open terrain. So that's cool, it's placed. Okay, 2 more cards for the Soviets. Yeah. Oh, here I can actually replace the map. And the units goes on the same hex in the other map. No, I won't do that, because then I will risk that my super tank, which I just placed, will be in the middle of the woods or anything, or something. Other alternative are units. And that's a second map thing again. Yeah, that comes out again. So maybe now, because that tank unit is super valuable, I'm going to place some other units to back him up. I won't place them though, but I will put them into play. So back on top here, this guy here goes underneath. And I'm going to dig out a T26 and a T35. Every unit has a number, a unique identifier. This is T26 and it's unit 44. The card calls for T2642, but it doesn't really matter now. I think just for... So you can ignore that, I think, if you like. It's just to make sure that the same unit isn't being called twice, or too many T26 is going to get out. But you don't want a T35. Alright, I can shift it out for number 42 then. And that T35 number 47 is actually this unit here. Okay. And then we get +1 cap for the Soviets. That's good. Back up to 3. Okay, Germans. Oh, so more victory points. I can augment, place a German control marker, 6 hexes from the German entry edge. And now then I can put on units. I don't have any units, so that's not valuable now, but maybe later as a defensive parameter. I get victory points for every round I hold it. This is a good panzer, and this is actually a very good reply to that monster, the KV2 tank. Yeah, again, the elite stuff, I can become elite, or I can get 2 minor panzers on. But the Germans are going to reply and put on this Panzer IV, because that's a threat, directed threat to KV2, which is extra valuable. -2 cap for the German. The Germans, or the German player. This card goes underneath here, on top of the stack again, or the deck. And I need to dig out the Panzer, and it was right on top here. Goes on the card. And the Soviet player draws 2 cards. We know this one already. It's not so useful. Replace a map. Don't want to do that. These things here, meh. What does the other card say? Then I can augment victory points. Yes, forward assault. So it means, oh, that's an interesting change to the game. So if you can push my units towards the German edge, and that tank, you know, the KV2 is quite far. It's already put half the map behind him. But if I mass take, this is also very interesting for me to take these 2 units and get another cap. I will do that. There's no infantry units coming out at the moment, so I'm going to take these units. This again goes on top. The Soviets are really pushing for units. A T-26, it's another one. And a BT-7 tank. BT-7, I need another one. I need the correct number. That's the correct number. And +1 cap for the Soviets. German player Panzer III. I think actually the German need some units. That's a very costly one. -2 cap. I can afford it. And evade, if I just hide, I can get victory points. That's a very interesting augmentation of the game. Instead of going head on, I can hide. And if I'm out of sight, I will get victory points. That's pretty good. I'm going to play it. Panzer J3. Yes. That's not good. The German needs now to focus to get the cap up, and it's only 2 more cards to play. Okay, ambush. May place a Soviet cards units hidden anywhere on the map. And I can place a hidden mine. Nah, no. Actually, I was checking the rules, and instead of placing hidden units, I will place twice the number of rumored units. So rumored unit counters look like these, and they may or may not be units. Getting some infantry, Soviet infantry units on the table. I'm not sure it's going to matter much. Seems like this is a tank battle now. Yeah, so if I don't want to play the swapping of the swapping of the maps, or getting these kind of strange unit on with some random defense counters. And random defense counters are trenches, minefields, bunkers, and so forth. This goes back. Then it's this card here. Well, maybe I'll do this then. Maybe I play the ambush event. So I play ambush, and there's some hidden unit stuff involved here, as you can see. That's not going to happen. There's some special instructions. The Soviets are playing Rumored 8. I won't place the hidden units, but I place twice as many rumored enemy counters on the map as the right units on the chosen card. And I will take those units on the card along with equal number of no enemy counters and put them in the cup. And I place the minefield hidden as normal. And if the AI now turns out to be Soviets, then that hidden stuff is just not going to happen. Then the mine is going to be replaced without rumored enemy counter. I'm not sure what happens now if I'm going to be playing Soviets. Alright, so I'm going to play the ambush. I put it under the special rules and events. Soviet card units hidden anywhere on the map, and I'm going to just take these 2 tanks and I'm going to place them hidden, which I can't do, but I can place double the amount of hidden units. Or rumored enemies, I'm sorry. And I'm going to take 2 no enemy units and place them together with these guys. Going to go in a cup. These could be the tanks, or they could be false rumors. I'm putting them in cover, because if they're in cover, they can't be exposed. And then there's a minefield. Since I'm playing the AI, it doesn't really matter. I can just take a minefield and place it anywhere on the map. I'm going to put a minefield here on the road. So, idea here is I'm playing the Russians. I'm going to draw the Germans in on this road and on this intersection, and then they will be blown up. Haha. Okay, 4 cards down for the Russians. Let's play 2 more for the Germans. Germans are low on units, and there's only 2 more cards that come out. And again, infantry doesn't seem to be very important here now. It's going to be tough for the German player to take out the Russian tanks. Yeah, so it seems like there's going to be more tanks coming on. I think I'm just going to do that. Just going to get some units for the Germans. Last card for the Soviets. More vehicles. I won't swap out the map. No, I won't do that. Yeah, I don't have much choice. I have to play this. For the units. That is a strange tank, BT7 and a CIS-30. And +1 cap for the Russians, who now have a tremendous amount of caps to equalize. So last card for the German player. Whoops. Foot soldiers. Get a Soviet control marker. And they will have to defend it for 5 victory points. That's interesting, actually. And then... yeah, command points. Plus command points are important for German. I don't think that works well in a solo game. Trying to find a unit. Even though there are some special rules, there's no way the AI is going to know that I would like to find it, and it will lose 6 victory points if it's being exposed. So I'm not going to play that, even though there's a +1 cap there. But I'm going to play this card anyway, and 2 more German Panzers is coming out. Right, voila, that's it. Units. The firefight units have been chosen, special rules, not too many. So I just want to emphasize that I'm using the printed rules which I got with the game, and there has been an update on the rules which you can download from the website of Academy Games. You have to log in and create an account and log in first. I will put the links in the description below. But the reason I'm saying it is that because I don't have a printed copy of that, and I don't want to go and reference online stuff all the time. So I may be doing something wrong, and that may be something that has been cleared up in later rules. So for now, I'm going to complete the firefight generation. Now we have to figure out who is playing what side. It says basically that you roll and you get German on 1 to 3 and Soviets on 4 to 6. So let's roll and see what it says. It gets me 3. What was that? I can't remember that. Yeah, I will be playing Germans. Now we have to do something else, because that minefield, I know where that is. So that is going to be augmented a little bit. So basically, I'm going to swap the minefield out with a rumored enemy, and I put this in the draw cup. So the way that works is that every time I will spot a rumored enemy, I can draw and see what it is, and it can be no enemy. It can actually now be a minefield or some tanks. Okay, so this is how the map looks at the start of the game. There are only 1 Russian unit on, which is worth 5 victory points, and there are a bunch of rumored units. And the AI is going to play the Soviet. So the rest of the units, sorry, I will show you here. Oh, the rest of the units that are on the card, the Soviet cards, are going into an enemy draw cup. Okay. You can discard these cards. These now are my units, and I will take them off the cards. And I will discard the cards. I can choose when to enter with these units here, of course, and where, along my map edge. Okay, I hope you didn't get too much or too dizzy during that freehand camera movement. So it's not too many units in the game, actually. That's good. Keeps the speed up. The Germans has a super problem because they don't have any caps. So let's see how that works out. Right, then I'm going to look at the top cards, which is going to be part of generating the AI. So we can take the card that is ours, or the players, and we can discard it. This is not going to be used. And you're going to use all the Soviet cards, because that's the AI, but there aren't many, right? There is just 1. So we're going to find, there's a bag of tiles, or a bunch of tiles. I put them in a bag, which correspond to the cards that comes with the firefighter generation. So I have to find Soviet card 8. And every tile, they look like this as a German side and a Soviet side. It's this tile here. We're going to use this tile. And it has a defense symbol up here, the shield there. Some have a circle, which is indicate offensive. This indicate defensive. So the Soviets are going to be playing with that defensive AI. So the reason it's turned out to be defensive was that it were more tiles with defensive symbols than offensive symbols. We just had one tile, so because there's a sheet here. There's an offense generated solo mission sheet, but we flip it. Oops, sorry, to the defense side. Defense generated solo mission sheet, and then we put the tile. Where do we put it? We put it here. It's on the mission. So there are different tiles. There are red, green, and blue tiles. Mission orders, counteractions. You will understand this as we play. And mission orders. So this is mission tile 1. It will go in this box here. This will be a mission order that will come up again and again and again. Because when the tile is being used here, it will move to this here, and then it will move to this here and this here. The mission number 2 will move there, mission tile number 2. We will mark this spot because this is, can you see it? It's a 5 or more round mission. Ends here. And we had 5 rounds for this mission. Because no of the other tiles came out. Counteractions, mission orders, we will be using the default here, which is printed on. Actually, I'm going to swap out this marker for this marker. So this white one is the same as in the examples in the book, and it will indicate where I am at, which spot I am at. Right, then I will be building the order card deck. It's from the solo play order card deck, of course. And it says if it's on the defensive side, if the mission board is on the defensive side, which it is, then I will pick out cards 5 to 43. And every card in the deck has a number. So we'll pick out number 5 to 43. Right, so that means a lot of the offensive cards, which is higher than 43, is going to go. But we need to make adjustment for caps. If you remember here, the Germans are in a predicament because they don't have any caps. Caps are an integrated part of this game, so that's a problem. If you remember, I did not choose the last event I played for the Germans. I did not choose the event because it didn't make any sense. And that event would be giving me a 1 cap, so I'm going to cheat to give me a 1 cap because, well, I need it. Then the Soviets, they have 5 caps, so that means that 5 of the cards, the order cards, which are special cards and pretty nasty ones, 5 of them are going to be added to the deck, starting with the lowest number because I am at a defense posture. So these order cards then is going to go back and be shuffled in the enemy deck. I can take away this marker then because we don't have to track it. Yep, and with that we are ready to play. We have set up mission track, solo track sheet, giving myself 1 command point, 1 cap. Although I should have had 0, but still. So the one question which I have, which I'm not sure of, is that the victory point track seems to be starting at 0, but there's a rule saying that it can never be tied, so I'm not sure how that's going to work. Must remember that every round the player, which is me, will be drawing 1 command card. And now I have frontline officer. It's going to cost me caps, so I can't play it basically because I don't have caps. Oh, that's stupid. Made myself a draw cup for damage counters, and I'm just using the one with pictures of tanks or vehicles because I don't have any infantry in this game. This is my counters for for reward enemies, and I will be drawing from here to see what happens.